Welcome to Coming Attractions, a new series where at the beginning of each month I'll be just kind of giving you guys a heads up on what's going to be coming out in theaters. We'll be looking at the major releases, and then we'll do like a little indies corner, looking at a couple of the limited release, smaller stuff that might be worth your looking into. Quick disclaimer, yes, I'm aware that the Best Friends did this, the what's coming out in for video games, and I am unabashedly ripping that off, because movies are important too, and if you're anything like me, you frequently think about going to the movies and then forget what's coming out. In fact, apparently over like 70% of people just show up at theaters and have no idea, like no plans on what movie they intend on seeing, which is kind of ridiculous. But anyway, so if you are listening to this now, it is June 6th, which means that there are already a few movies that just came out yesterday, including Spy, written and directed by Paul Feig, something like that, who previously directed The Heat and Bridesmaids. It's starring Melissa McCarthy, Rose Byrne, Jason Statham, Jude Law, and Miranda Hart. It's about Melissa McCarthy's character who works a desk job with the FBI or CIA or something like that, a spy agency. Melissa McCarthy's character rises to the challenge, often with comedic results, including pratfalls, pop culture references, and fat jokes. The fact that it's directed by the guy that did Bridesmaids is intriguing, but it's also directed by the guy that did The Heat, so that's a little discouraging. I think this is one of those movies where you saw the trailer for it and you pretty much decided immediately whether you were going to see it or not. So if you're listening to this and you have not seen it, then chances are you never will. Also, Insidious 3 came out in theaters, written and directed by Leigh Whannell, who was actually in the movie as well, but also wrote the first 3 Saw movies and the Saw video game. Yes, it took effort, apparently, to write the story for the Saw video game. By now, you don't really need me to tell you what the Insidious movies are about. It's about spooky things that pop up and go boo, and there's creepy old-time music playing in the background while it plays. Jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, etc. In the Indies corner, we have We Are Still Here, written and directed by Ted Guggett. Oh, forget it. Starring Larry Fessenden, Barbara Crampton, Lisa Mary, and some other people that you've never heard of before. A couple recovering from the death of their college son relocates to a quiet, sleepy village in New England in an attempt to kind of get their life back together. But as it just so happens, the one house that they pick is the one house that wakes up every 30 years and demands a sacrifice. It sounds pretty interesting. I just like the idea of a house, the pitch of a house waking up every 30 years, you know, like alarm clock goes up, wakes up, and they, oh man, I'm hungry, it's time for some food. Next week, June 12th, we have, of course, Jurassic World, directed by Colin Trevorrow, who previously worked on Safety Not Guaranteed and a TV movie called Gary Under Crisis. Starring, of course, Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Judy Greer. It is actually a direct sequel to the first movie, so it is intentionally ignoring the events of the second and third movie, as is the rest of the world. It's projected to do the best at the box office, obviously, as it's actually the only major release coming out this week. The other two are Madame Bovary, directed by Sophie Barths, who previously worked on Cold Souls. Set in Normandy, France, it is, as you probably guessed, about Emma Bovary, starring Rhys Ifans. I've never known how to pronounce that name. It's always just one of those names that you look at it and you see the face, but you know who it is, but you just never say it out loud. You just refer to it as that guy. Paul Giamatti and Mia West. Oh my god, I can't pronounce anything. Mia Wasikowska. Mia Wasikowska. For those of you that don't know, Emma Bovary is a story of this young, beautiful lady who just impulsively marries this small-town doctor to get out away from her father's disgusting pig farm life. But she finds out that the world of high society is actually pretty damn boring and starts to yearn for prestige and excitement. If you're looking for something with a little less whimsy and a little more comedy and maybe just a hint of tragedy, maybe looking to cry over something this week, you might look into Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, directed by Alfonso Gomez-Rejon, starring Connie Britton, Molly Shannon, Nick Offerman, and Olivia Cook. It's winning awards and audience awards at the Sundance Film Festival. Sort of a quirky comedy about a high school senior who's intentionally avoiding deep relationships and connections with people as a means to avoid getting himself hurt. But then his mother introduces him to Olivia Cook's character, Rachel, a girl in his class who's been diagnosed with cancer. And he starts to discover the worthwhile truth ships and bond ships of friendship and love, and it's gonna make you cry. Just as soon as I told you that it's about a guy getting to know a girl who is a death sentence, you kind of already know where it's headed. But it's got Nick Offerman in it, so at least there'll be a couple laughs on the way, right? The week following, June 19th, you have Inside Out, Pixar's latest venture, directed by Pete Docter, who directed Monsters, Inc., WALL-E, and Up. So if you weren't already crying from last week, so if me and Earl and the Dying Girl didn't make you cry, chances are this will. It's starring Diane Lane, Amy Poehler, Kyle MacLachlan, Bill Hader, Louis Black, and Mindy Kaling, who all lend the voices to the personification of human emotions. Human emotions inside of a character named Riley, 11-year-old girl, who is navigating a whole new life, a new city, new house, new school, having to adjust to a lot. Disney and Pixar have been on somewhat of a swing and a miss lately, but with a lineup like this and bringing back Pete Docter, who again worked on some of the better Pixar movies in the past, this actually looks pretty cute. It has a decent chance of doing all right. There are certainly worse things that you could be seeing this week. If you're really feeling you want to take a chance, though, in the indie corner, we've got The Overnight, written and directed by Patrick Bryce, starring Adam Scott, Jason Schwartzman, and Taylor Schilling. I'm not gonna lie, I saw the trailer for this. I still am not entirely sold on what this is about. But the director of this previously did a freakishly horrifying, yet kind of funny movie called Creep. So if you've seen Creep, then you might know what to expect from this. I don't know. This one's a gamble. Personally, I'm probably going to just play it safe with Inside Out. But you might be braver than me.
This is California. Maybe this is what dinner parties are like.
Finally, rounding out the month of June next week is Felt, directed by Jason Banker, written by Jason Banker, as well as its star Amy Everson. Based somewhat on the events of said star Amy Everson, it's about a young woman who creates an alter ego in hopes of overcoming the trauma inflicted by the men in her life. Boy, I can't wait for all the misogynist, feminist assholes to jump all over this one. That being said, the approach and the style of direction actually looks pretty interesting. I would definitely look into it. I don't know if it's going to be a limited release or not. You might have to do a little bit of hunting around, so I don't know if this technically counts as the indie corner or not. Upward turn, question mark? I can tell you what isn't, though. Warner Brothers' new tear-jerking Oscar bait, starring Lauren Graham, Thomas Hayden Church, and Jay Hernandez. It's about a PTSD military dog trying to adjust to life back in reality. And no, I didn't stutter. It's a live-action movie about a PTSD military dog adjusting to life in the suburbs. Yeah, so right, moving along. There's also Ted 2 coming out on June 26th, the sequel no one asked for of the movie that no one asked for. Meanwhile, The Big Game comes out the exact same day, a movie where Air Force One crash lands in Finland and President Barack Obama, played by Samuel Jackson, has to fight his way through enemy lines back to the States. If you were listening to any of that and you still want to see Ted 2 over this, I don't know what's wrong with you, and there may be no actual hope for you, but you should still see a doctor anyway. And of course, the viral sensation that took the entire internet, as well as one specific town, over, Bat Kid Begins. A little boy's make-a-wish, wish to be Batman for a day. There already was kind of a short film that already came out about it, about the work that was put into it and how it exploded and the events that took forth. But now they're just going to go ahead and make a full-fledged documentary about the entire thing. Seems a little silly, but at the same time, you can't really complain about it. I mean, who, when they were 5, didn't want to be Batman? This for sure knows exactly where your heartstrings are, and is going to pull as hard as it possibly can. I watched the little video that Make-A-Wish created about this entire event, because I was interested enough to seeing it, but I also just kind of figured that it would just kind of disappear, and I wanted to be there to see it. Had I known there was going to be a full-fledged documentary, I honestly might have waited. And that's it for June. If I missed anything, which I probably did, because there's like 12 movies that come out every week, don't be afraid to let me know. Put it down in the comments, and next month what I'll do is I'll kind of highlight the ones that everybody kind of unanimously agree that I missed. I'll kind of highlight it in the commenters' favorite or what I missed section, whatever. Anyway, if you even like this idea, let me know too. I'd like some feedback on how to make this better. Till then, I will see you guys July to let you guys know what comes out in July.
In helping him to live this dream, we were saving ourselves.